Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Doctor Who Reviews, our Series 11 retrospective, way later than originally planned. Sorry about that.
No, we're not.
I mean, we had an original take of this which had to be scrapped because somebody wouldn't stop talking about a certain element of an episode.
Yeah, Cat. Jesus.
It's not Cat. And it's not me. Just a hint there. So let's get straight into it, shall we? To my virtual left, he won't stop talking about that damn frog. It's Freezing Inferno.
Spoilers for the rest of the show. The reason I won't stop talking about that frog is because it's one of the only 2 good episodes.
Get over it. And to my virtual right, she is this podcast equivalent of Oprah Winfrey. You get assessing. You get assessing. Everybody gets assessing. It's Kat.
Well, at least now you're finally getting to understand my personality.
What, just sass?
Yes.
I'm not sure sass counts as a personality, but...
Excuse me, are you sassing me now?
Sassy counts as his personality.
I know where you live.
I know where you live.
Well, of course you know where I live. You delivered a $300 Switch to it.
I know.
I still can't believe you did that, by the way. But that's nothing to do with Doctor Who. So, Series 11 then... Oh boy. I've been kind of dreading this retrospective a little bit.
It's a difficult one.
Just a little bit. And we're going to break with tradition here. We're going to break with tradition a little bit because, unfortunately, one of our number was not able to be around for one of the more interesting reviews of the series, one of the more interesting episodes of the series, and that was Kablam.
Oh, we're just starting here.
and you weren't here for Kablam, and general consensus is that Kablam was one of the better episodes of Series 11.
Well,
but some people didn't like it for some reason. Oh.
I wonder what the reason could be.
Stupid ones.
Capitalism wins. Fatality.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. You're not wrong.
I've been waiting for 6 months to make that joke.
It was worth it.
It was well worth it.
Oh, Jesus. I thought we were going to go episode by episode, but you just...
Oh, no, we're going to go episode by episode, but let's get the elephant out of the room first.
Oh.
Yeah, might as well.
Because it's taking up all the space. It's reckoning my stuff. Let's get this damn elephant out of this room.
Hey, you be nice to Dumbo. I know that Disney's making all these damn movies again, but you just be nice to him. He's had a rough time.
Oh, God.
And if you had a Disney remake, if you had a Disney live-action remake reference 2 minutes into the podcast, you win the pool. Congratulations.
If you like the Disney remakes, then you're an idiot.
Well, the Lion King might not be too bad.
Hopefully. I mean, the cast looks good, and I'm interested in seeing it, but I ain't gonna see it in theaters, I'll tell you that much.
So, Kablam, then.
Can we go back to talking about Will Smith and the genie?
Thank you for coming back to our Disney live-action movie podcast.
That we didn't have until 5 minutes ago.
So here's my dissertation on Beauty and the Beast. Okay. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus.
I tell you what, if you get this out of the way, I'll make it up to you. We can talk about the good episodes.
Oh, good. Okay. Kerblam, then. Just remind me, what was your 2 consensus on Kerblam, since it was, like...
We liked it.
At the risk of destroying your friendship with us, we liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. Don't worry, because I'll tell you how I watched it. I watched it in the presence of a friend of mine. I was visiting him, and the episode happened to air, so we just threw it on. And, when you're watching with a friend, you know how it goes. You're kind of, like, riffing on it a little as you watch. And it was a fun time, It was a fun time. I must stress, my time watching Kerblam on first viewing was fun. I saw that it was a really well put together episode, great pace, an interesting plot that followed. It felt like proper Doctor Who in a sense, oh, here's the doctor, and she's investigating some bad shit going down, and she's poking at authority. You know, it's the kind of Doctor Who that I liked in the Moffat years, the late Moffat years, and it was sort of a resurgence of that watching it. And I was like, hey, that's not bad. Then I thought about the episode after it ended. And then I read some critique from the Doctor Who circles I follow, which I will say up front, they are definitely more to the left of this political spectrum than to the right. This is why Rainiac puts me on the virtual left. Yeah, and they tore into Kablam for being a misguided, evil thing that is pro-Amazon in a lot of respects. And I haven't actually watched Kablam since it aired.
I have.
Does it hold up?
Yeah, I think Elle and the others have some valid points, but if you just like it as an episode and don't think about the larger connotations, it's fine.
Really, what it made me think of, and this is really getting into some shit, but, you know, you want to get the elephants out of the room. It reminds me of the discourse surrounding a Fourth Doctor story called The Talons of Wen Chiang. Have you heard of this shit?
Wait,
No.
people are comparing Kablam to Wen Chiang.
No. I'm saying that it's kind of like that situation, but not entirely the same.
Okay, because I'm saying, having seen Wen Chiang, that's way more problematic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's definitely. Talons of Wen Chiang is a Fourth Doctor story set in Victorian London, and it is both lauded as a great, exciting, like, well-written Fourth Doctor adventure, and it also has a shitload of Chinese stereotypes that people kind of are like, yeah, that's not a good look.
It's a little bit racist.
But there are people who will go to bat for Talons above all that and say, oh, it doesn't matter, this is of its time, and it's really great if you ignore all that shit. Which kind of reminds me of Kablam. Not nearly as bad, I will clarify. But it kind of reminds me of that, in that there are people who can sort of set aside the political bugbears in it and see the well-written story that's there. And there are people who can't. So,
for what it's worth, I thought that one of Kablam's strengths was that it didn't portray capitalism and the guy fighting the capitalism either as good. Neither were depicted as the good guy here, because both were willing to kill to get what they wanted.
Yeah, that's accurate, I suppose. But of course, you know, my left-leaning circles criticize the episode. That whole that centrist Doctor Who perspective really didn't sit well with them.
Yeah, but you want to know something?
Go ahead.
I'm left-leaning, and I like the episode because I can pick it apart, and I don't just stare at it at face value. That's why I may be a left-leaning person, but I could still look at gun control and be like, yeah, I understand the need for it, but, you know, it doesn't always work.
So wait, you're left-leaning,
and analyze them.
You're left-leaning, Fresno's very left-leaning by comparison.
I suppose.
Does that mean we need to remember the alt-right to balance it out?
No!
No, it means that we lean very slightly left whenever we get into a car.
That's the best description of it. For my take, I would say that saying that the episode is a bit evil, all right, I think it's a bit much, but I can understand it. Saying that people enjoyed it are evil, that goes too far.
I don't think you two are evil. I just think you have different criteria for judging media than other folks.
You don't think we're evil, you just think we're wrong.
It's one of those things where I personally really hate nitpicking. When I don't know if you guys had to do this, but whenever we were growing up in English class, we always had to take a poem and like pick it apart to see what does the yellow wall in this story means. And I'm like, it's a fucking yellow wall.
You're talking about
a yellow wall.
So Kat doesn't subscribe to Death of the Author.
No.
But you also have to think about what's behind the scenes as well. Do you really think it's a good idea for even Doctor Who to go and pick on fucking Amazon entirely?
I mean, considering that Amazon handles some of the distribution for DVDs, probably not.
Yeah. I'm also pretty sure you can get the show on Amazon Prime, but don't quote me on that. I might be wrong.
You can. You definitely can.
I'm just staring at my Doctor Who shelf. Got that from Amazon. Got that from Amazon. Got that from Amazon. Yeah.
So what you're saying is you're a hypocrite.
From Amazon?
And now you're just saying like, well, we live in a society, you know?
Yeah. Well.
I am joking. You do realize I am joking.
Okay, because you were sounding like that guy who's like, that one political comment. We should improve society somewhat. Yeah, you live in society. Curious.
I am very intelligent.
Okay, I'm glad that was.
By the way, I have a big question that I absolutely need for us to answer for me.
Okay.
You have friends?
I mean, other than us, if you've got friends other than us, I call that heresy. I don't know about you.
I'm not his friend. You're his friend? Seriously?
Yeah, why do we even have him on here?
Because you
why do we have you, too? I'm not your friend either. Hell, weird.
I'm not your guy, buddy.
Oh, can I talk about one other thing?
I'm not your guy, friend.
Can I talk about one other thing Kablam does that made people upset?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Remember when the lady died from popping the bubble wrap?
Oh yeah, Kira.
Yeah, they people didn't like that. Called that a fridging. The capitalist system crying out for help killed the woman, and the doctor did nothing about it. Is what they say.
Well, the doctor did nothing about it because she didn't realize it in time.
I mean, after the fact, she didn't tear the shit down. That's what people object to.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, I also wouldn't call that a fridging because out of all the characters we met, Kira was really the only one left that could be killed.
Yeah.
Other
than the two managers, which, they were just kind of there. So it's less a fridging and more just, we have to
well, she was killed in order to make Charlie was the guy's name? The revolution?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. She was killed to make him sad and call off his cause, which
I seem to remember it more as it was her telling them that, or it was the AI telling them that this is what will happen. This is what's evil.
Okay.
No, it was the AI trying to send a warning to Charlie. I think they do specify that in the dialogue.
There's also the line at the end where they're like, "Oh, we gave our workers a month off and 2 weeks' pay."
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know if that was meant as a joke. But
I can understand the criticism, and I will say it doesn't hold up as well on rewatch after seeing the whole series.
I will concede it's very well made. It's one of the better made episodes.
As an adventure, it's great, but once you think about it...
Once you think about it, a little prickly, not really...
I mean, I also want to point out something that may alter the way people think. Or not. I don't give a shit. So... How are your workforce treated over there, Rainiac? Are they treated very well?
Depends which sector. Depends what job they're doing.
Let's gig economy. Say, for argument's sake, the kind of place that Amazon would have with the whole Packers and stuff. Not Amazon itself, but that sort of industry.
I would say not so hot.
Okay.
Fred, I think they were trying to get trade union representation, for example.
I would imagine, I don't really know much about the working sector, but I would imagine it's not too dissimilar from the U.S.
Yeah.
But at least we have, we have like free healthcare. So workplace injuries, I guess, would be a lot easier to handle than.
And trust me, we've seen all the commercials about workplace injuries you guys have.
Oh yeah.
we don't have paid healthcare. We have universal healthcare, the NHS. So workplace injuries would be better.
Yeah,
handled.
So, I mean,
same as us. Yeah.
this is essentially the UK taking on a culture that is somewhat present in other countries, but you still have better things than we do as a country. You guys have universal health care, so you don't have to work all day and hope that you get enough money to be able to go to the doctor. We do.
Yeah.
Well,
Things are a lot different here. So
personally, I'm very glad we have universal healthcare.
I would say though that's one less thing we have to worry about, but I mean, you still have to worry about like
yeah, obviously every
stuff,
country has its problems. I'm not discouraging that.
So it's definitely still like a capitalist grind.
I don't want to turn this into a political broadcast or anything, but I will just say that without universal healthcare or the NHS, my dad probably wouldn't be alive today. So
that's
exactly.
I will go back for it.
And if y'all would let me finish for 5 seconds, I feel like Kanye West over here.
Go ahead.
I guess I would be Taylor Swift. You guys would be Kanye West. Whatever. My point is that America has always been a very capitalist country. And there are a whole section of people who are usually the super rich, or, at least people who are comfortable enough to not have to work in these certain jobs, that don't realize this. And I'm sure that you guys have some of those people over in your countries as well. In fact, they're probably all over the world where they just don't give a shit about their workforce.
I mean, we all live in hyper-capitalist countries, so we definitely do have our own versions of the 1%.
That's why I'm saying that's why I like Kerblam, because it doesn't hide it away. Sure, it's a relatively minor joke that has the 1 month and then 2 weeks pay, but people still notice it. They point it out. They point out how Kerblam killed somebody in order to make a point. They point out the fact that there's no human workforce, that the workforce that is there is, not the best treated because they're made to be doing certain things at certain times. It is pointing out all the problems that are there while also making sure that they don't fuck over one of their main distributors of their product. That is an extremely difficult position to be in for anybody.
Now you've mentioned about Kerblam killing someone, I think that's the major difference. Kerblam kills one person. Charlie was prepared to kill thousands.
Billions.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands.
Billions.
I think neither of them are particularly good. I mean, in the case, you can't really have a good person being an AI because it's an AI automated system. But I certainly think Charlie is worse than the system because, of course, Charlie's got free choice. You could argue the system is programmed to do what it does by someone, whereas Charlie has complete autonomy in his actions.
So, Cat's argument basically is that this is the most anti-capitalist Doctor Who can get in its capitalist leaning with its Amazon ties.
I think that's quite an interesting point. Yeah, I think that's a
great point. Is that a good summation of your point?
Because you can see people getting anti-capitalist, but the problem is that they're not really all that mainstream. Because capitalism is sadly the way of the world. And until we can change that, nobody can really be too anti-capitalism.
I think as long as we change it, look at me being political over here again. God damn it! I should run. You
wanted me to talk about Kerblam. You knew this was going to happen.
Yeah. All I would say is that when we do inevitably move away from capitalism, we have to be careful that the system that we replace it with isn't flawed for different reasons.
Yeah.
You can't go from one extreme of capitalism to the other extreme of, say, mass socialism or communism and not expect
That's why I believe in a blended. I believe in a blend. You pick and choose what you like and find a way to make it work before you implement it entirely into a system.
Oh my God, thank you.
You have to test these things.
Thank you. If more people listen to UCAT, we probably would not be in the world we are in at the moment. That's a brilliant point.
If we listen to Cat,
we'd all be dead.
Yeah, if we listen to Cat, we won't boil alive in 30 years. So.
Whoa! Nobody mentioned the climate change here. Whoa! Take a step back.
Oh, too political.
Climate change.
You know
There, I
what's
just
coming, by the way, don't you, in
mentioned
Series 12? There will be an episode about climate change.
Oh, God.
I just know there will.
Oh,
Nothing's confirmed yet. I'm just
you know,
stating for the record now.
I actually do think something like that came up. Hang on, I'm gonna.
If series, I'm just making a statement right now when we're recording this.
Hang
Series
on.
12 will have a storyline about climate change.
Doctor. Oh my God. Oh, it's from the mirror though.
Oh God.
I'm going to send it to you.
You had to already get the meme in somewhere, didn't you?
Doing that.
Yeah. No. Don't blame me. Look, we're going to talk about It Takes You Away anyway.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
An interesting tagline.
They've learned
put
nothing.
The headline. What?
They've learned nothing. Next series to tackle climate change, gender politics, racism, and imperialism.
After issues like gender politics, racism, and imperialism.
Oh, sorry, cut it off. Okay, so it's the climate change will be next series, having tackled the other issues that we're going to talk about later in the podcast in series 11.
I mean, they didn't exactly handle these ones that well.
Holy shit!
No.
Holy shit! Did the Mirror just cite fucking Warrior's Gate?
Yes, they did.
Oh my God!
It truly is the end times. The Mirror has cited Warrior's Gate.
Warrior's Gate is so fucking good.
Now we just need Homer Simpson with a sandwich board going, the end is here, the end is near.
Yeah.
I would like to go for something a little more lighthearted since we got straight into, capitalism and politics and all that bullshit.
Good luck with that, because not much of Simpsons ever was lighthearted.
Well, this is more something I noticed. So, something that our viewers might not know is that sometimes whenever I start to, sit down and watch a show, I'll, binge watch it for a couple of weeks to finish it. My most recent show was NCIS, which I don't know if you two know about that, but for
I watched
our viewers,
that,
yeah. I know of it. I never really watched it.
It's CSI, criminal investigation, whatever, but in the Navy, the American Navy. So I'm watching it, and I come upon an episode where it's talking about this special liquid called sarin. When it touches air, it turns into a gas, and the gas can expand and kill enough people in the whole entire room. And then it gets to the end of the episode where they're like, well, this dude's still trying to kill this general, so we have to figure out what the heck is going on. Or maybe it was a foreign, I don't remember, some ambassador or something. He was in the hospital, that's all I remember. So they're racing to the hospital, and the kid who's sitting next to his dad gets a package. And in that package is this really nice little fruit basket. So I'm thinking, they put it inside the fruit basket because it's, been saran wrapped and completely covered. So he picks it up and puts it on the table. He's like, look, Dad, a fruit basket. And then he looks inside the box, and he pulls out, those air pocket things?
Oh, no!
Really big pillows? It's inside of that. The dude rushes into the room, holds it up, and you can see the little drops of sarin inside. I'm like, Doctor Who stole that!
Yeah.
Simpsons did it!
So once again, Chris Chibnall does not have an original bone in his body.
All I will say about NCIS is that if you're on that show and your rank is petty officer, you're probably not going to see it to the end credits.
Yeah.
Wait.
I don't know how many times that show's open with, we got a dead petty officer here, we're going to investigate it.
Congratulations on your promotion to petty officer. Here's your red shirt.
Yeah, basically. Basically.
Why does my camo have a big target on the back?
Three people that won't survive. Red shirts, Alpha Team, and petty officers in NCIS.
Yeah.
Number 4, people who talk about their kids or grandkids.
Yes.
People who have 2 weeks to retirement, essentially.
Thank you, McBain.
Mendoza! I think that about puts the bed on Kerblam.
Yeah.
Well made. Y'all liked it. A lot of people have reservations. A lot of people have different takes on it and say that it's the best it could do in the society we live in. So it's the Marmite of Doctor Who, Series 11, basically.
I would say it probably is. I'd like to move on to a general point about Series 11, if I may.
Okay.
I am going to say one thing that I had never said before, and I'll probably never say again.
Here we go.
Frez, your feelings are valid in this one instance.
Just
I love the backhanded insult there.
Okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm not going to get sick. All right, let's continue on before I do.
This one time, you're right. Every other time, hell no. Okay, I'd like to make a couple of general points, if I will, about Series 11 that I've noticed.
Go on.
So it's interesting how pretty much the second half of the series was a lot better than the first.
Well, you know why that is, don't you?
Well, the first episode, the woman who fell to Earth, was great.
Ghost
Monument is bland.
Yeah.
Rosa is uncomfortable as hell to watch.
Still good, but uncomfortable.
We like to rent this in the UK, but it's pretty average.
It's... The
Surrender Conundrum is no. Just no.
I know people who like it, but I didn't... It didn't grab me.
But then Demons of the Punjab onwards, we see a real rise in quality.
And you know why that. And you know why that is.
For about 4 episodes, yeah, because Chibnall wasn't writing them.
Exactly.
We see a real rise in quality. Demons of the Punjab 2 about it takes you away, and oh no, the finale, and it drops off the edge of the cliff.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Hot take: that finale is probably the worst one I personally have seen in the 11th series.
The worst finale?
The worst finale. The worst final episode of the series.
So,
I mean, it's competition.
Way too long a title.
So we're not counting resolutions.
Its main competition is Series 6, which is a train wreck anyway.
Oh, no. Look, listen. I just rewatched some of the Matt Smith years and got to Series 6. That has nothing on Battle. At least Wedding of River Song has, like, stakes and revelations and things that happen.
Yeah, and then Battle of Razgrave Colossus. What if Tim Shaw came back but was a god, but wasn't actually a god, but thought he was a god?
What if we established that the atmosphere of this planet would drive you crazy, but you had to wear these patches, and then at the climax of our episode, we have the companions take off the patches, and then have absolutely no consequences whatsoever for taking off the patches?
I can't criticize that too much because Stephen Moffat did that in Asylum of the Daleks.
Uh-huh.
And there were no negative consequences.
I just rewatched that. Yeah, you got a point.
They've got this device on them, this plot device on them. It's like, right, if you have this off you, you'll start turning into a Dalek puppet. And Amy loses hers at some point.
An original bone in his body.
Yeah. Amy loses hers at some point in a conversation with some zombies, some Dalek-fied zombies.
Yeah, they haul the Dalek zombies haul it out for.
Yeah, and then they start waving it in front of like the damn putties from Power Rangers.
Yeah, you're good. One of us.
Yeah, and
so, all that really happens to Amy. Well, actually, Rainiac, I will defend this a bit because there are actually some consequences of this. The consequences being Amy has a hallucination and Amy gets more snippy.
Yeah.
What are the consequences for losing your patches in Battle of Remskur?
Nothing!
Absolutely nothing!
Why did you say that like the Count from Sesame Street?
I'm trying to emulate the quote from the movie UHF.
I know, but you sound like the Count.
Nothing! Absolutely nothing!
How many consequences? Not zero. Oh god!
But let's talk about the good episodes because I would class the good episodes. If you discount Rosa because it's uncomfortable, but I accept that mechanically it's very.
We already talked about Kerblam, which you know, well made.
I will say one thing about Rosa: he completely ruined the finale of that with the music. So you got this dramatic moment with Rosa being arrested. You got like Rise Up playing in the background, not the right music.
Oh dear.
I would also like to reiterate the reason we're comfortable with Rosa is not because we're a racist or anything like that. It's simply because we recognize that this happened a lot and it's a little bit uncomfortable because we're trying to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
No,
It's
we're uncomfortable because we're not racist. That's the whole point.
We're not trying to ignore it. We're not trying to downplay it. We're simply saying we know that this happened. The fact that it happened is awful. Completely and utterly awful. And that's the part that makes it as uncomfortable.
A racist would not be uncomfortable about it.
Yeah, we're the ones who recognize how bad it is, and we're uncomfortable because of how awful it feels.
It's just really raw and uncomfortable.
But if we gloss over that, I don't want to say gloss over, but if we move aside Rosa for one moment, I would say the best episodes of Series 11 are, the best 5 are, The Woman Who Fell to Earth, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Demons, we've already mentioned Kablam, The Witchfinders, and It Takes You Away.
That's 5?
And that's 5. And all of them, apart from the Woman Who Fell to Earth, nothing to do with Chris Chibnall, apart from being the showrunner.
Isn't that a strange
coincidence? What a winky dink!
Yeah. Also, it makes me really glad that I was kind of looking at what little we know about the next season, and Chris Chibnall is not listed as the writer for any of them so far, so...
Yeah, we know very little about Series 12, so don't get too excited about
that. Well, we know.
That's why I said so far.
Series 12 finale. Climate Change is Real, yo. Written by Chris Chibnall.
Wait, no. It's Chris Chibnall who'd be like, climate change. Well, maybe these people who say it's not real have some points, and these people who say it's real have some points. I guess we'll never know.
I will say one thing: if they have this climate change episode and it's like just 30 minutes of the Doctor yelling at climate change deniers, I will call it the best episode 10 out of 10.
Okay, that would be good. That would be good.
Vaccinate your goddamn children before they kill everyone by Chris Chibnall.
Oh, Jesus.
Seriously! The hell is wrong with you people?
Oh, no.
But we're not here to talk about that.
Featuring the Doctor called the Herd, who had to get some kind of immunity. I'm just saying. It's funny because it's true.
It's also funny because apparently there was a group who once again financed a study to try and see if vaccines cause autism, and oops, it doesn't.
Whoopsie diddle do.
My last point on vaccinations, and then I will move on because I'm curious that I'm conscious of the fact I'm probably annoying a lot of people. What else is new? My favourite tweet this year was from Liz Finnegan, who Fresno knows I like Liz a lot, and I've quoted her a few times to him personally. But it was like, roses are red, violets are blue. Vaccinate your goddamn kids, you moron.
A+.
Yes. Liz takes no shit, and I love it.
So, yeah, well, I think we've hit on a major little tiny, small issue. Just an issue with Series 11 is that the goddamn guy in charge is making milquetoast average shit.
And then everyone else is making this politically charged dynamite.
Well, we don't know how much input Chibnall had on Rosa. His name is there.
He was a co-writer. He co-wrote it with Marjorie. Goddammit! Now I am a racist. Mallory Blackman.
Yeah.
He picked out the jacket that the evil guy wears. That was his contribution.
Jesus Christ!
Are you suggesting that his use of writer boiled down to wardrobe?
Yes.
It's just
because that's pretty much the only thing they did right from these episodes.
All right, Mallory, I'm here to help. What can I do? Oh, I've got a great job for you, Chris. You can pick out the wardrobe for the bad guy. Yay!
Hi, I'm Chris Chibnall. I'm a hands-off writer. I'm a hands-off writer, and this is It Takes You Away. Chris, you didn't write this one. Exactly.
Okay. So, why don't we talk about another good episode?
Yeah, well, I've mentioned the top 4 are Woman Who Fell to Earth, Demons, Witchfinders, and It Takes You Away. All of them have their merits. I think we are in agreement, aren't we, that our favourite episode collectively as a group was It Takes You Away.
Absolutely.
Yes, and you're not going to start talking about it again, Fres. We've already got 5 hours of footage we could use. We don't need any more.
We can talk about it without mentioning the F word.
That part is what you think I'm yelling about?
Yes, because we had to listen to it for 5 hours.
Oh, okay, then I'll just talk about mirrors.
Damn it!
This is acceptable. Please
No, it's not. I walked right into Cat. Shut up.
Wow. First, Cat is like, Frez, your feelings are valid. And then she's like, talking about mirrors? This is acceptable.
This is not fair. You're only doing this to basically guilt me into talking about the frog, goddammit.
He said it. He said it.
It's open season.
And now I'm marrying you. Fuck!
Yeah. Still perhaps the greatest thing to ever come out of this podcast.
What, you mean apart from me?
Wow.
Excuse you, I'm here.
Ah, crap. Oh. I just got Fred's ego in my eye. Hang on a second.
Oh.
You got a what in his eye?
I got his ego in my eye. It crossed the continent and hit me right in the face. That's going to leave a mark in the morning. Oh, man.
I just looked out the window and I think I see Fres floating by because his head's so inflated.
Well, it's really cool.
It's cold up there. Watch how you go.
Welcome to the roast of Freezing Inferno.
I think it takes you... I think It Takes You Away is a glimpse into what Series 11 could have been.
Yeah,
I agree.
At its absolute best, because it's Jodie Whittaker's best performance. I am going to criticise her a little bit when we get to talking about her specifically, but here she's great. She doesn't show some of the weaknesses that she's shown in other episodes. Just the general weirdness of it. Just the general weirdness of the whole thing with the anti-zone and is it Ribbons?
Yeah.
The little guy with the knife.
Yeah, I think it's Ribbons.
Yeah, and the monster they had to actually cut out of the episode, which is a shame because it was a really cool design.
Oh God, what was it called? The
Slender Man.
It's basically Slender Man, but it's not.
Yeah, it's basically the Slender Man, but it has an S name too. I forget what.
It's not Shadow Man because that's an N64 game. Hang on, I'll do a little bit of research.
Stan. Its name is Stan.
Your biggest fan. This is Stan.
After who It Takes You Away, cut monster.
It's a cool design. I kind of hope they reuse it.
Well, it took me to the wiki. Let's see here.
I can tell you right now, it's not on the wiki.
It's not?
Nope, I just looked.
Oh.
Riveting dead air.
The Snout Man. That's what we'll call him, the Snout Man.
The Snout Man. It's a shame he was cut, because it would have been a really cool addition to that episode, but maybe it didn't need it.
Maybe they can put the monster in series skull.
Maybe not that monster, but they might reuse the costume. They've done that before.
Yeah, well, they didn't use the monster to begin with, so they can say whatever they want with that costume.
Yeah.
But It Takes You Away
I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, it Takes You Away is brilliant, and it isn't even because it's lousy with mirror imagery and sentient frogs, although that definitely helps.
I mean, it's weird. It's got some really great concepts. It's got some really good acting. Graham O'Brien breaks my heart.
Hmm. And
see Grace again.
He gets the return of Grace, which was not spoiled in the trailer, thank goodness.
Well, really, that's another thing. Very little about this series was spoiled because there was so little meat on the bone. In a lot of respect.
A damning indictment, but sadly true.
Like, tell me how you're gonna spoil the Ghost Monument with previews. Oh, there's bed sheets and shooty robots. Ooh, wow.
I almost wish there had been more to spoil because it would have meant that there was more to that episode.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Instead of just being bland with a side order of extra bland.
Mm. It takes you away. I think is it's not easily the best episode of Series 11. I'm really, really conflicted on whether it's this or Punjab is the best.
I think if I take away my personal liking for the Witchfinders, which I think is top 5 but not top 3 material.
I suppose that's correct.
It takes you away as number 1, and then I would say Punjab number 2, and close behind it, Woman Who Fell to Earth.
Okay.
Woman Who Fell to Earth is a very strong debut.
Yeah, it's actually like pretty good.
And in a way, it also hurt things because we went from that to Ghost Monument, and it's a really big disparity.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Ghost Monument was okay at the time, but like,
it's so dull.
Mm-hmm.
They've just got nothing to work with.
Yeah, but we're not talking about the bad ones right now. We're talking
not talking about the bad ones.
It takes you away. Very dreamy, very weird. Just the kind of shit I like to see in Doctor Who.
Yeah, and
it's full.
I will give some love to the Witchfinders as well.
It's fine.
I'm going to admit I was wrong in our initial review, and actually Alan Cumming was great as James I.
Brainiac was wrong with the concept.
Yeah.
I'm
Welcome to the roast of Brainiac here on the Doctor Who podcast.
Cumming, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, people actually criticise me saying, "How dare you say he had a bad performance?" I didn't say he had a bad performance. I said for me he was over the top.
He was
but
really
then
over the top.
You watch it again, you realise that the over-the-topness is intentionally part of it. It's to show that he's acting. Obviously, he's acting as an actor in the programme, but I mean, the character is acting. He's putting up a facade. I'm acting! No, the king is putting up a facade. Which is why when he's talking to the Doctor when she's being held for being the witch, he's a lot more serious. He feels like he has to be the proud popinjay. It's like putting on a set of clothes to make yourself look different. Are you really laughing at proud popinjay?
Popinjay just makes me laugh for an entirely different reason.
Look it up.
No. I know, but it's stuff that I can't really explain on the podcast without a massive derail.
Okay.
Just accept. I'll just accept that it's funny.
Derailing things on the Doctor Who podcast? Wow,
Never.
what a concept.
Never happens. What a concept.
Never happens. What in the name of God?
While you're looking that up, I will make one more small point. I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, the ratings are terrible this season." I'm not quite sure why they say that, because Woman Who Fell to Earth had the best ratings consolidated since Time of the Doctor.
But the ratings were good.
Yeah, 2.96 million consolidated ratings, and that's the best since 2013 December.
I'm not complaining about the ratings. I'm complaining about the Christian ratings.
You're not complaining about the ratings. Other people were.
I'm complaining about the ratings on Resolution. They're way too freaking high.
The BBC, for example, were very concerned about the ratings for Resolution. And they're thinking of moving the special to Christmas Day again. Which is really strange to me because Resolution got 7 million views overnight. And that's better than the last Christmas special. So whether they're saying that
this wasn't a Christmas special,
I think they're saying that, the ratings in comparison to other shows around the Christmas time frame rather than last time's Christmas special. Wait, no, sorry, no. It did worse. It did worse than Twice Upon a Time. But then again, that was Peter Capaldi's last episode, so it was always going to do worse.
The late Moffat era, which I really liked. I don't know how. Aside from certain bullshit, lie. really, I liked it, but it didn't do very good in ratings. It was like, what, 4 million on average?
And again, you've got this weird disparity where Series 11 is up in terms of viewers, but down in terms of overall opinion and ratings. That's a weird paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
There are more people watching it, but there are more people also thinking that it sucks.
There you go.
Maybe that's because there's more people watching it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as I say, Twice Upon a Time, the highest rank for Series 10 was Twice Upon a Time, 7.9 million total viewers. The lowest rank in Series 10 was Empress of Mars.
What was? Oh.
That was 5.02 million. The pilot scored 6.68 million if you want to go for individual regular episodes and not specials.
I thought the Eaters of Light got like a 3 or 4.
And given that we just praised it to the hilt, the lowest rank for this series was It Takes You Away.
Shows what they know.
Scored 6.421 million total viewers. Well, I think at that point, the surprise factor of her being the Doctor now being a woman had kind of rubbed off a bit, and people were starting to not like the show. People tuned off after Rosa. They tuned off after Arachnids in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Laws of Diminishing Returns.
It was almost a nice steady decline up until around Resolution, where it went back up again.
Which is weird because Resolution was not that good.
Yeah, it was off the air for a while. And I guess rumors might have got out. Oh, the Daleks are going to be in this one.
You mean the rumours that they actually intentionally started by putting them in the trailer?
I forget.
They recut the trailer to have the Exterminate sound at the end of it.
There you go. Okay, they built hype. Hey, it's Daleks. You want to watch the Daleks?
So the initial teaser is just like, it's the most dangerous creature in the universe, and then Doctor Who, watch it live New Year's Day, whenever the time is, and then it's like, the second version of it is like, most dangerous creature in the universe, Exterminate, watch it live on New Year's Day.
There you go.
So they gave it away. Because the marketing department still is terrible at their job.
Yeah. Do they need someone to help? I'm available. I can help out on weekends. Come on. I've been asking for years. I can fix this shit. Just let me.
And the really annoying thing about this series is it starts off so strongly with The Woman Who Fell to Earth.
Well, I mean, I guess you could say that.
I mean, seriously, that's a really strong start, and it establishes Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, and it establishes our companions, and it's not perfect by any means, but it made me think when I watched that, oh wow, we're for something really special here, and then it didn't quite happen.
Sadly, no.
Everything that this is more of a general point about Jodie Whittaker's performance in total, or not so much her performance, but the way she's been written, the way she's been told to portray it. So she starts off really strong in The Woman Who Fell to Earth. She takes no nonsense from Tim Shaw. She's clever. That bit with the bombs that she takes out of the robot and puts. Sorry, no, she takes out her friends and puts them in the robot. She has that great scene on top of the crane. And then you don't really get anything more from that until It Takes You Away. I mean, that's not good. That's a 7-episode gap.
I'm finding it hard to disagree.
Yeah, I actually am too, because when it comes to all the other Doctors, we can all point out something that makes them unique, you know? The 10th Doctor, he had his personality, the way he would run around and be all eccentric. Matt Smith was Matt Smith.
Peter
Christopher Eccleston. I can barely remember anything about Jodie Whittaker.
Oh, there's something unique about this Doctor, which some people got very upset about.
Oh.
Well, come on, it's obvious, isn't it?
Go on.
That accent.
The coat.
Oh, come on! If you're talking about coats in Doctor Who that draw people's ire, that's not on the list.
No, isn't it obvious what I'm doing? I'm trying to talk about the fact that she's actually a... Oh, God damn it.
Oh, no, now look what you've done.
And now I'm becoming Ian Levine, Jesus.
Well, could be worse. You could be Whoflix.
Look, I generally try to be a positive person, but it's very hard to when it comes to talking about Ian Levine.
Does anyone have a good word to say about Ian Levine beyond? Oh, he helped find a bunch of missing episodes.
The man gets dunked on a daily basis.
I mean, to be fair, he has a chronic foot-in-mouth disease.
Oh, he facilitates himself getting dunked on a daily basis, but he gets dunked on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Sometimes by us on this podcast, by the way.
Me say a bad word about Ian Levine? Never.
No, that would never happen. But I did compile a few notes as to the, shall we say, the problems with the 13th Doctor, which I hope they address in Series 12.
Hey, dear BBC, here's a copy of my list about what the problems with the 13th Doctor are, and here's a second copy of that list in case you lose the first copy.
What?
You hear me?
Okay.
No, go on. What do you got?
Do you hear that sound? That's the sound of the joke going right over my head.
If it helps, I didn't get it either. It's just so stupid. I'm laughing at it.
Okay. So you didn't get it, but you're still laughing at it. Oh, all right.
I'll take that.
Okay, so I can think of two main problems with this Doctor that they hopefully address in Series 12. The first is her general lack of authority.
Yeah.
She shows some of it, and it takes you away when she's addressing Ribbons.
And they make a really, really half-hearted attempt at it in Battle of Rub.
No, she's not authoritative in the slightest.
I mean, with the whole Graham. Now, Graham, don't you avenge your dead wife?
But that's not authoritative because he says, "I'll do it anyway. I don't care. Stuff you."
Well. Either way, Battle of Crab Rangoon aside. I have to agree. She's not that forceful about anything. It's almost like they were afraid to do it just because. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But what's your second point?
Well, I can back up the first one. The one bit in the series that really drives it home to me is the Witchfinders.
Yeah.
The bit where she is driving the Morax back into the tree. And she says, "You, Morax, back in your cell now, please."
Back in your cell now, please.
That's the actual line of dialogue.
Oh my god.
Could you imagine David Tennant saying "now, please" to a monster?
I can imagine him doing it sarcastically, but not straight.
No, it wasn't sarcastic.
I know. That's why I'm saying he would do it sarcastically, but not straight like Jodie did.
Yeah, and this is not a problem I've got with Jodie herself. She's a fantastic actress. If you've seen her in other things, this is definitely the direction she's been given for it.
Yeah, and I'll get into that a little bit afterwards once you're done talking about.
Yeah, fair enough. And the second major point is a lack of consistency in her characterization.
Yep.
It changes from week to week.
Episode to episode.
Interference and non-interference.
Some episodes minute to minute.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's shit.
So, it's not shit. So, Rosa, she doesn't get involved because history has to play out exactly as it has to. I get that. That's a good idea. That's a solid concept.
It's an uncomfortable idea, but it's a good idea because it's uncomfortable.
Compare that to Kablam and the Witchfinders.
Well, see, this is almost sort of the same thing that, like, defined Doctor Who historicals in the early days, where it's like, oh, the Doctor will gladly change history if and only if the history happens to be after the date of transmission. So if you're in the future, if you're in the future in the year 2000, change all the shit. If you're on Earth in, say, 1955, you can't rewrite a single line of history.
Except he does.
Yeah. I mean, even in the Witchfinders, you can see the interference and non-interference clashing. Like right at the beginning, when the lady is going to get dunked, and she's sitting there going, "Oh, can't interfere. No, not one line. Ah, fuck it," and then she dives in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
my point exactly.
Which I mean, I have my own problems with the non-interference policies in science fiction. Don't get me started on, say, the Prime Directive in Star Trek.
Ugh.
I have one more big point to make, but I've talked enough for the moment. So, Kat, please.
No, you can go ahead and do it, because it might actually help support my claim.
All right. Well, I think somebody... I'm sorry, I forget which of you already said it, but I think they said that there is nothing distinctive about this Doctor. There is nothing unique about this Doctor.
Yeah.
And it's worse than that. There is nothing particularly unique that or stands out about her character. I mean, Eccleston was the war survivor with a guilt complex. Tennant was manic with a backbone of steel behind him.
Yeah, let's not get into Family of Blood and how amazingly epic that was.
Oh my god.
Time Lord victorious!
And that as well, yeah.
Matt Smith was like... He kind of had that same thing going, but in a different fashion. Like, he the old soldier in a young man's body sort of thing going.
I've always compared him to like a puppy, where he could be, soft and happy and playful and do silly things, but then if you tick him off too much like a cornered animal, he'd turn on you and start biting.
And Capaldi has anger, intensity, and yet wisdom.
Eyebrows.
And Jodie Whittaker is a woman.
Yeah, and there's the big problem that I have right there. You know, in the beginning, before season 11, we were like, oh, it's not a political statement. There's nothing weird. It's about time that we had a female doctor. It's awesome. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm not backtracking on that, but I am a little bit. Chris Chibnall can't write women.
No, Chris Chibnall can write?
Well, Chibnall can write, yes, but he can't write women.
I don't know if this was specifically his choice, but the fact that she's somewhat consistent in her inadequacies, it makes me think that he had a major hand in it. And that's the problem here. There's a difference between wanting to have a strong female character and making sure that your female character isn't too strong. And it really feels like that's what they did here, is they wanted to make her the doctor, but they felt that, all the men out there are just going to be like, well, she's not a realistic woman, she's way too strong, when's she going to be all vulnerable? And that's essentially what they did with her.
Which is a mistake, considering that those people shut off Doctor Who immediately once Jodie Whittaker was cast. It's like, this show's dead to me. Like, I'm going to go on a tangent, but I literally saw this the other day. There are people who literally bitch because, okay, the new logo. How the BBC is trying to do, like, cross-brand solidarity. They'll put the new current Jodie Whittaker logo on the classic Blu-rays, say.
Yeah.
People bitch about that.
Of course they do.
Yeah. There's like reviews and shit saying, how dare you put this shitty embarrassment, the Doctor Who logo, on my Tom Baker DVD. I can't imagine being that goddamn mad about something. Like,
it's
so
one of those things that has always been a problem with women in media. You can have these strong female characters, but the moment that they get too strong, immediately it has to be downgraded. When you have women writing women, you get amazing stuff like Bayonetta, who is, as far as I know, I haven't finished the game actually.
Is that written by a woman?
Is a strong game. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Bayonetta was done by a woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are exceptions, of course, because then you have stuff like Stephanie Meyer.
Well,
but
that's
for
her
the most
own
part,
special fucking case.
Yeah, for the most part, women tend to know how to write women, especially since they're trying to market them for women. And most women want to see an actual human being. But, as we know, Doctor Who is mostly watched by a lot of dudes. There are women who watch the show, obviously I'm one of them. But sadly, it's just gone to this point where if people see a strong female character on screen, they don't want them to be strong all the time. That's why you have people like Black Widow who has these emotional moments, or if you have like Rey from Star Wars who has her weaknesses.
Oh boy.
We're not going to go into that, trust me.
Please do.
But either way, it's just so hard to have a strong female character nowadays because so many people don't allow them to be that. So that's why you have the Doctor being like, "Get back in your prison, please." When really she should be forceful. She should be saying, "Get back in there or else."
Yeah.
But she doesn't do that.
Hey, Kat, did you see Captain Marvel?
I did indeed.
Do you think that that's an example in the positive?
I would say, for the most part, yes. There are a few moments where she's a little bit too, I forget what the term is. The one where two women can't stop talking about a man in a thing.
Bechdel test?
That, yes. There are a few times where it's a little too much that, especially with her superior.
Right.
But otherwise, you know, she has very strong moments throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't really have, without spoiling too much, just in case someone has not seen it yet, she doesn't really have a moment where she breaks down for no reason whatsoever. Just so somebody can comfort her and say, "It's okay, we understand. You have ovaries and a vagina, so therefore you have to be weak at some point."
Oh my god.
Meanwhile, men are never allowed to cry.
I mean, forget about Captain Marvel. When's Goose getting its own movie?
Yes!
Goose is the best.
The Goose spin-off now, please, Disney, come on.
Oh,
have him meet up with the Paternoster gang.
I mean, they finally got their own Big Finish audio series.
I know.
Crossover of the ages. So, yeah, I'll just add that it's unfortunate, I think, if what you're saying is why they did what they did with Jodie Whittaker, that they felt the need to compromise Jodie Whittaker's strengths to not piss off that certain crowd, when really that certain crowd was already pissed off the moment Jodie Whittaker was cast, if we're being honest.
And
I mean, I'm making broad general sweeping
proves my
statements.
point.
Yeah.
The fact that they were pissed off the moment she was cast, that proves my point right there.
Yeah. For me, Jodie Whittaker, I made a lot of comparisons in the day, I think, to the Fifth Doctor, which I know a lot of people love 5. He's got some good episodes, but it's not exactly my favorite era of the show by any means. And 5 is kind of generic in its own way. I'm sure there are 5 fans who can tell me all his strengths and good points and whatnot, but 5e just feels kind of like just this nice time-traveling guy. And that's what Jodie Whittaker feels like to me. Just a nice time-traveling lady going around space and time with her friends. Which can be a good thing, but if the writing's not up to par, then what you've got is kind of a bland doctor, for being honest.
Well, here's a good comparison. I would hope that you two remember Clara.
Clara? Who's that?
So, would you classify Clara as a strong female character?
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, so would I. Are there people who hate Clara?
100%?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Clara
That's
was a stronger
sort of
character
the
than
idea that I
13.
get. So it's like, it's one of those things where obviously you have to make sure that you keep your audience, but it feels also that they're losing the same audience simply because A, she's a woman and there's a lot of people who don't want to watch that even though it's stupid, and B, because they made her ineffective as the Doctor. It doesn't matter who the Doctor is, if the Doctor can't be the Doctor, that's the whole reason that nobody likes them. That's why so many people didn't like Colin Baker, was just because he was so different and not in a good way.
And also
and the
his
same is
first
happening
episode.
here.
And also his first episode was shit, but that's getting besides the point.
That's just a writing standpoint. We're talking about the character, though.
And also,
yeah.
he tried to
Character
string
of
Nicola
Doctor.
Bryant, but anyway.
Yeah. But, what was I about to say here? The ratings for Series 11 were actually quite good, right?
As we've already
Yeah.
discussed earlier, yes, they were pretty good.
Yeah.
That is another problem, though, because oftentimes when it comes to critics will like something a lot more than the public will.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And there could be a huge divide there.
But critically overall, that's what they at the show are looking for, like the numbers and the critical stuff. Critically, this didn't flop, I don't think, with the numbers.
I don't think any of the episodes flopped, like truly flopped.
Critically, it was better than Series 10.
Yeah.
But I mean, the best comparison I could say is the critics really loved Resolution.
Well, that
Nothing
says
was
it all,
below
really.
3 stars.
Okay.
That says it all, really.
Yeah.
But what my point is that they're so worried. They're apparently so worried about pissing off the wrong sort of people, and thus kind of dampening Jodie Whittaker's strengths for no real need, considering the ratings were, good. The show kept in the black.
That's just what happens.
And going back to Resolution, since you mentioned it, I really think this brings up the ineffectiveness. Is that Jodie Whittaker kind of had to plead and ask to be able to blow up a goddamn Dalek.
Yeah. That's the main episode that finally really made me have to sit there and say, I can't hand wave this away anymore. They're making her ineffective on purpose now. There is no way that this is not on purpose.
But I don't think the problem is just that it's a female Doctor now, because apparently the episodes were originally written for a male Doctor.
Oh.
And then rewritten.
Well, that could be it too. Maybe they didn't add in that much, female Doctor.
Yeah, and the problem, by the way, is not that she is a woman. It's the fact that her only major trait is that she's a woman. Think of other really great female characters, not just in this show, but elsewhere. Katniss Everdeen, for example.
She's a
brilliant character.
She's a survivor.
Yeah, she's a brilliant character, but it's not just the fact that she's a teenage girl. That's one facet to her character. It's not her whole character. If you get me.
I was going to say
the
something,
problem
but
is with Jodie is we can take parts of her like, oh, she's really inventive. Well, other doctors have been really inventive. She's quirky. Other doctors have been really quirky. There's nothing unique there.
It's like they're writing generic Doctor 101 in a way.
Yeah.
I will say though,
they made her as inoffensive as possible so that more people would accept her.
And it's really rough on Jodie Whittaker because, as I say, she's a great actress, and I don't want this to define her.
Yeah, when she's allowed to act kooky and weird, she's great doing that.
I will say one thing though is that there's some things that made the whole ineffective thing work as a strength rather than a weakness. Well, I say some things, but I mean the episode Demons of the Punjab, where the ineffectiveness in the face of tragedy is the point and the dramatic weight of that episode.
Well, the thing is, replace Jodie with any other doctor in that moment and have them do absolutely nothing, and it still work.
Oh yeah, that's fair too. I'm just saying, compared to the other like ineffective stuff, that actually stands out now.
Yeah, but I think that's just because it's a strong episode. It has nothing to do with Jodie's character.
Oh yeah, that's fair. It just happened to work. So I'm saying.
Yeah.
It could be that, yeah. Well, I think we've been negative Nancy's enough tonight, so let's try and shift the tone a little bit towards the positive end of the spectrum. The companions.
No.
Because
there will be no positives here.
You refuse, just flat out refuse.
Well,
of the two companions that I remember. Oh wait, there were 3.
I was about to say I'm still going to be negative Nancy here because we still had to talk about how the show can't handle women because it gave Yaz nothing.
All right, I tell you what, let's get the
battle
out of the way. Let's get the battle out of the way first. Let's go straight to Yaz. I was trying to balance my own agree, but no, You know what? You want to be negative Nancy's? You be negative Nancy's. Yes, be calm.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. What a useless character. Oh my gosh.
They gave her fucking nothing, and it's a shame.
They gave her less than nothing. She was literally just there so that the other 2 companions could cry on somebody. Mostly just,
The show is a million times more interested in Graham and Ryan than it is in Yaz.
Thank you.
Yes.
I forgot his name, and that was terrible.
So, I mean, it's not a good look, this show. I mean, you got a doctor they're not letting be strong enough. Your first episode has a really great female character who you then drop off a goddamn tower. And then you have Yaz, who does nothing.
Yeah.
She punts an alien, and that's about it.
She punts the Bating into space. She has some character development, limited character development in Demons of the Punjab because it's mostly set around her family. And then nothing.
Everything else is the Graham and Ryan show.
I hate to say this because it's harsh on the actress, but honestly, I almost feel like Series 11 would be better if Yasmin wasn't in it.
Sadly, probably, yeah.
If they introduced her in Series 12, that would be better, I think.
I mean, let's be fair, then we wouldn't have Demons of the Punjab, which was amazing.
We could have had that in Series 12, though.
Yeah.
But
that would just make Series 11 that much worse.
Yaz does come across, unfortunately, as a 4th wheel.
Yeah. She's not even a 4th wheel. She's like the 5th wheel.
And she's supposed to be a police officer.
That you keep in the back.
She's supposed to be a police officer. Show me one scene outside of where she's in uniform in the first episode where she acts like a police officer.
Here's a fun thing that a lot of people pointed out. Remember Arachnids in the UK when she goes to the hotel and some idiot pulls like a gun on her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd think a police officer would have something to say about it.
Or
well, she's not a trainee, but she's not been in the job that long.
You'd think a police officer, even in trainee, would have even one throwaway line to say about someone pulling an unregistered gun on them.
Yeah, I agree. And what about Resolution, where 2 cops are killed?
Yeah, that too.
Does she mention
again,
it once?
Like I said back in our review, she didn't want to say to anybody, "Hey, there's a rogue criminal out there shooting cops. Stay away," or anything like that. She didn't at all at once.
But that would give you something to do. We apparently can't have that.
Did the episode take place all in Sheffield? Because if it did, she probably knew them.
Yeah, I think it did take, well, Sheffield and surrounding area. It's been 6 months since I watched Resolution.
Hang on, I can find out real fast.
Actually, 7.
I have
And the weird thing about this is I think even Chris Chibnall realises he's messed up because he was recently asked about, would Yasmin get to act like a police officer again? He said, well, you'll have to see.
Yep, it's in Sheffield.
Oh, God.
Right, so those are two of their colleagues that just died.
And she has nothing to say or do about it.
No.
I'm still thinking about the 5 thing. 2 of the Doctor's companions in the Fifth Doctor era had a family killed by the Master, and he kept showing up a couple times in Anthony.
As he does.
Yeah, and they had jack shit to say about it. They don't say, "You dumb motherfucker! You killed my family! You killed my aunt!" Or,
I don't think you would call the person that killed your family a dumb motherfucker.
Well. Sanitize my statement for Saturday tea. Sanitize my statement for Saturday Tea Time in 1982. And God, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they didn't care enough in 1982 to do that, and 30 odd years later, we have the same problems.
You want to know something sad I just realized?
Yeah.
Go on.
We liked certain episodes a lot and we raved all about them. But now that it's been far too long afterwards, and we apologize to our viewers, we've been trying. But all I can feel is disappointed now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just severe, sad disappointment.
I feel that overall, but there were highs. Like Demons and the Frog one, I still say are great.
But
Doctor
even
Who.
then, that's only like 2, maybe 3 episodes if you include Rosa in it.
Yeah, and again, that gets back to my problem. Of the ones that I find the most memorable, literally none of them, aside from maybe Rosa, have any involvement with the person in charge of the ship now.
I would say three of them. Sorry, 3 of the episodes are great. 2 of them are pretty good, and the rest range from distinctly average to fart noise.
They're just mediocre at best, and it's sad. Because we expected a lot more out of this series, especially since we're not getting any more until 2020. Thanks, Jimbo.
Top of my list for Series 12, I mean, I think we'll talk about this when we talk about the future, but top of my wish list for Series 12 is that if Yasmin has to stick around, and by all accounts she is doing, for God's sake, flesh her out.
Please, give her some more to do.
I mean, I hate to be the lefty conspirator again, but, like, of all the characters, well, I say that for the benefit of the viewers, plausible denial. Of all the characters on this show, the Doctor, Yaz, or the one they give the most heft to is the old white guy.
Just after they got off starring an old white guy.
Yeah.
And this brings me back to my argument about Ben and Jodie.
Why'd you sing that?
Just saying. Because I can't.
Fair enough.
Which, I mean, it's
if life was a musical, I'd be miserable, but, I can make it a musical anyway.
That meme about McDonald's, that's you, isn't it? Pulls into the driveway with cheering wildly, or it's a single black coffee and leaves.
Oh, God.
That's Cat.
Well, either way.
I'm the we have food at home, and you're McDonald's. There we are. That's the podcast summed up.
That's it. You've got the podcast summarized what McDonald's mean.
You want to know the sad part? That is totally what I'm like.
Oh my God! You realize what this means? We can psychoanalyze each other better than we can the 13th Doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a damning indictment.
This is sad.
This is deflating us, so let's try and attempt to pump it back up a bit by talking about the good parts of the companions. the two good
Grace
companions.
was amazing up until she died.
Grace should have been in this Stage Yasmin. There, I'm saying it. Nuclear hot take thrown out there.
Oh, that would have been cool.
It would have been cool if they actually, did right for her.
True.
Plus, maybe they could have still done what they did in Woman Who Fell to Earth by just making it Yaz and she's Ryan's best friend or something, and then that would still have hurt him, but that would have been a little more like a fridging.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
No.
It's not a good look either
kill anybody.
When two of your companions are comparatively better characters than your main hero, or in this case, heroine.
I mean, I really, oh my god. I really don't want to seem like a tinfoil hat, but the Graham and Ryan stuff is actually far more interesting than most other stuff going on in the episodes.
Bradley Walsh is the highlight of the series.
That's particularly damning, considering, the hype of the first female Doctor, and all the writing seems to give a shit about is Bradley Walsh.
It's damning,
and
it's not Bradley Walsh's fault.
It's giving me credence here.
It's not Bradley Walsh's fault at all. It's the writing's fault.
Yeah.
For giving him such overwhelming focus. Like, some focus is fine, of course. Give him his little arc, that's great, but you know what you should have done? Give him that little arc and given other people their arcs.
And it's like I'm trying to think. In the ones that Chris Chibnall did not have any writing credits for, or at least didn't have too much to do, it really seemed more like the minority characters had a lot more to do and say. And Graham was a little bit more shuffled to the background. But everyone he wrote, Graham was a little more upfront.
It takes you away to have more of a Graham Ryan folk.
Well, that one made kind of sense because they brought Grace back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really feels like Chris Chibnall is the one behind this all, and he's the devil here. I don't know, it just feels like that to me. Like this is all his fault.
I don't know if I want to go that far, but someone or someone's are asleep at the wheel here, it feels.
I mean, I was all about the Moffat hate before. I can totally shift that onto Chibnall. That's fine with me.
Did you just say that Chris Chibnall's the devil here?
Yes.
I've got your next idea for a crappy Photoshop.
Oh no! Are you gonna fucking do what I think you're going?
The Satan pit creature, but Chris Chibnall's face on it.
I knew it. God damn.
Send me the assets, and then you'll pop it up now.
Yes.
Oh,
look at that Photoshop.
Oh my god, Pat!
That we totally can see. We can totally
look
see
at that really
right
crappy
now.
MS Paint Photoshop that I do. I don't actually have Photoshop.
Right. Oh.
Half the people that claim to Photoshop don't have Photoshop, Cat. It's fine.
I know, but mine's like extra bad because I literally use MS Paint.
Hey, you can do a lot with MS Paint.
and even Graham, Bradley Walsh, for all his brilliant acting skills, and I find it kind of ironic in the way that before the series was airing, people were like, "Oh, Bradley Walsh, I'm not sure that's going to work." And Jodie Whittaker, yeah, that's going to absolutely be perfect. And now it's the opposite.
Well, it's the opposite because they gave him all the focus.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, even the focus they gave him, look at where it goes to. I'm going to avenge my dead wife. Graham, don't do that. 50 minutes later, I'm not going to do that.
And even he's not immune to inconsistency because of what you just said there. Like, there's no hint that he wants to kill Tim Shaw until Battle of remember that.
Battle of Rancor Kodos.
I'm trying to keep this bit going, but we give a different name for that battle title every time, but it's
Battle
quite hard.
of Vegetable Curry.
Yes, thank you. The Battle of Mulligatawny. So I'm aware that's a curry soup. It still works. Deal with it.
And I mean,
Battle of Rigatoni with sauce.
It just feels even more jarring considering that it takes you away. Could have been the perfect way for him to move on from his grief finally.
Oh, he broke my heart now, by the way.
Ryan calls him Granddad. He has his moment of actually, like, finally. It
was
seems
a
like
beautiful
coming to
setup
peace with it.
right there.
And Chris Chibnall fucked up.
And the Granddad moment actually feels like we earned it, and the characters earned it.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful
moment.
moment.
Fabulous episode for that moment.
And Bradley Walsh broke my heart in It Takes You Away.
There's a... Oh God. I just remembered something. A bit tangential, but there's a game on Steam that I played a while ago called Super Cyborg. I don't know if you've heard of it, Rainier.
Yeah, I have.
Nope.
Yeah, it's like a Contra game. And it's an amazing game for five levels. Then the last 2 levels are garbage. So I would like to say about it is that Super Cyborg is the best 5-stage game that's unfortunately 7 episodes long, or 7 stages long. So the Chibnall era is the best 9 episodes ever. That's unfortunately 11 episodes.
Hardly best ever, but yeah, I get.
Well,
I get the
you
point.
get the sentiment. Where it should have ended, they kept going, and it was bad.
Yeah. I'm sad now.
Yeah. I mean, I had fun watching these episodes.
If you want to enjoy, slight tangent here, but if you want to enjoy Series 2 of Doctor Who, just treat it as episodes 1 to 9, scene missing, episodes 12, 13.
That's one way.
Forget resolution.
God.
And then Series 11, it's episodes 1 to 9, scene missing, Series 12, whenever it comes.
I would like our viewers to go back and listen to the first episode we did just before Series 11 started, where we were all optimistic, and then come back and listen to this one.
And look at this now.
Hear the difference.
Well, even when I was writing, I had a bit of cautious optimism, like, yeah, okay, but this worked, and I kind of like this. But now here I am sitting here months later, I'm like,
I'm sorry we're so flat, but we can't help it.
This is not very good. Like, it's watchable. It's not complete shit.
Honestly,
like, it's not.
It's not even this. It's terrible. It's just dull. It's just average.
It's just milquetoast Doctor Who.
Old.
Really bad Doctor Who is actually better than dull Doctor Who, because at least
Superman.
really bad Doctor Who has something to actually draw you to it.
Listen. We need to do that thing we were planning on doing, where we sit down and watch Time in the Ronnie.
Yes.
Just to see.
You keep trying to make this a thing. It will never be a thing. Stop attempting.
It will be a thing.
No. But you understand what I'm doing. You're saying that bad Doctor Who is better than average Doctor Who. That's what you're saying.
Well,
So
maybe not better, but maybe it's more
Time
interesting.
in the Ronnie's bad?
Oh, it's a lot to a lot of people.
Is that the one where the dinosaur gets in the TARDIS? Because if so, that's the best episode ever.
No, you're thinking. I think you're thinking of the.
I'm thinking of what? Sorry.
You're thinking of the Colin Baker Ronnie episode where dinosaur gets in her TARDIS at the end.
That sounds like the best
I
thing
remember
ever.
the TARDIS once getting into a dinosaur.
Also,
each other.
Also, there are tree mines. They're mines
What?
that when you step on them, you turn into a tree.
I
What?
repeat, that sounds like the best thing ever.
Mark of the
Can we
Ronnie
watch
is
that episode?
I mean, that's if you want to watch some Colin Baker shit, you can.
Yes, I am always down for Colin Baker.
Oh
You should know
boy.
this.
Oh wait, you're right, I'm getting confused. Town of the Ron is the one where Kate O'Mara earns her goddamn paycheck by pretending to be Mel.
Yes, that's the one.
Yes,
And
it's
it's
the one where
amazing.
they kidnap all the brainiacs. But not the Rainiac.
I was going to say, what it's just like, my side of the podcast went silent. It's like...
Oh my god. And I can link this tangentially because the writers are Pip and Jane Baker, and at the end of the second Colin Baker season, I don't know if you've seen this sort of infamous little thing. It's like, I don't know, a current affairs show or whatever, where they have a bunch of Doctor Who fans on. bitching about the end of Trial of a Time Lord. And one of them is a geeky young Chris Chibnall.
Yeah.
And he's saying, "Oh well, the writing wasn't as good as it could be. It was very traditional, running through corridors, milquetoast Doctor Who sort of thing."
Here's my challenge to anyone who's remotely good at video editing and actually wants to do this: take that clip, put it over episode of Series 11.
Oh fucking! If I had any digital Series 11, I would do that.
No, the perfect episode, Ghost Monument. I don't remember a single thing from that episode. At all.
Oh, God. I think he was a bit more specific. He was talking about, like, Terror of the Vervoids or something.
No, I mean, put that clip over that specific episode. And
Yeah.
me.
Just running about.
It will apply.
There's nothing much going on, just running about. It's perfect.
Yeah.
If it ever comes out on DVD.
What's that?
Series 11.
I mean, it's already on Blu-ray and that.
I honestly was not interested enough to actually check, so thank you for telling me.
I'm not about to spend. Yeah, I'm not about to spend like $40 on the Blu-ray.
No.
No.
Welcome to the if you've just tuned in, welcome to the Doctor Who Reviews Jaded cast.
Hey, I was trying to talk about positive Doctor Who, time in the Ronnie, but you shot me down.
Where we tell that we've aged about 10 years in the space of 2 hours.
Do we... I mean, I could say nice things about the episodes that we talked about in the past that I liked.
But we've already covered that, so...
Yeah, so what else is there to say? What do we got?
Unfortunately, I know this whole video is going to come across as overly negative, and I'm already prepared for people going, "Oh, you're not being fair to it." I want to be fair to it.
Not being fair to it. I gave it 11 hours time.
No. Few critics actually go into something wanting to hate it, wanting to dislike it. There are people out there, and those people are called idiots.
Well, I did watch all the Twilight. Not to rag on them, but...
There are people out there, and they're called idiots, but...
I actually read 50 Shades of Grey to see why people were so into it. Help.
You're not helping your case here, guys.
Please.
Oh, dear.
Help me.
You're really not helping your case here, guys.
We want to like Series 11 is what you're saying. It's just that Chris Chibnall made it exceptionally difficult for us to do that.
One tiny bit of praise then. Chibnall nailed the portrayal of Ryan as somebody with dyspraxia.
Did he?
More or less. I mean...
Oh shit, Ryan had dyspraxia. I forgot.
More accurately, Tosin Cole nailed the portrayal of someone with dyspraxia. This is coming from someone who has dyspraxia. There were times when it got a bit sort of cliched and cartoony and exaggerated, but for the most part, it was actually quite grounded. And again, it's part of his character. It's not his whole character.
So, wait, you're telling me that the person with dyspraxia is like, Doctor Who really nailed my reputation. And meanwhile, the show cast a woman, and the girl on the show is saying, yeah, this show is shit at writing women.
Yeah, basically.
They got dyspraxia right, and woman wrong.
Question. Wasn't it his nephew who has dyspraxia, Chris Chibnall?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying anything, but...
No, that's probably why. Stuff. That's probably why. Because he actually had experience of it.
Hey, right what you know.
No, I'm implying something different.
Yes, I know what you're implying. I'm choosing to ignore it.
Well, you can ignore it all you want, but I'm not going to.
I don't know what we're talking about, but
she's implying that nephew is important.
Okay.
I'm saying that Chris Chibnall is sexist.
Oh.
If it had been his niece, maybe he wouldn't have got it right.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to go with McBain, that's the joke on you, but... not McBain, sorry. God damn it.
I am half joking, but... I mean... He's not giving me any reason to believe him.
Renier Wolfcastle, not McBain.
What?
Yeah. Honestly, I'd rather watch McBain than certain episodes of this Doctor Who series. God.
Like, I'm trying to think what episode. I mean, I wouldn't rather watch a bad episode of Doctor Who than a milquetoast episode of Series 11. But I would rather watch an average episode of the Moffat years than I would a average episode of Series 11. Like, give me, I don't know. Well, throw me an average episode, Brainiac, of the Moffat years, just off the top of your head.
You want to hear something really sad?
The Eaters of Light.
Eaters of Light? Yeah, I'd throw that on over Ghost Monument.
You want to hear something really sad?
What's that?
I hate some of these episodes so much because they're so boring that instead of watching, say, let's go with Ghost Monument, I would rather watch Forest of the Night.
Oh.
That's it. Wrap it up. We're done here.
At least Forest of the Night had something happen in it. There were trees and there was a mystery and
Forest of the Night
I hated the little floaty fairy things, but at least something happened.
Forest of the Night has ideas and themes. It has fucked up ideas and themes, but it has them and it does them.
Congratulations,
at least Kill the
Chibnall.
Moon enraged me.
Congratulations, Chris Chibnall. You've officially broken Cat. I hope you're proud of yourself.
It made you feel something.
I had
blind rage, but it made her feel something.
This like is technically still an emotion.
I had hopes and dreams, and you dashed them all to the ground.
Well, I mean, I don't think I'd go as far as Cat. For instance, I would not rather watch Land than the Ghost Monument.
Nobody would watch Live the Land.
No, the Live the Land should be consigned to oblivion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were listing, Capaldi episodes that made you angry. So I listed one that made me angry.
Yeah, but Forest of the Night and Kill the Moon, at least a lot of people like them. One of you at least liked them. Does any of us like Live the Land?
No.
Nope.
There you go. Live the Land has no redeeming qualities, therefore it goes in the toilet. Forest of the Night and Kill the Moon, even though I personally did not like them, one of you at least found something to redeem it.
I didn't hate Forest of the Night completely.
There you go.
I thought it was.
And then obviously Frez loved the speech from Clara.
Yeah.
Ghost Monument has nothing.
Would you rate Ghost Monument over Live the Land, though? I would, for the simple reason that it doesn't insult the audience.
I mean, yeah. Congratulations.
I find it to be very insulting to me because I have a brain. I like to watch entertaining things.
Mm.
And it's not getting any better, unfortunately, because the same problems that apply to the main cast also apply to the guest cast, the villains, and the monsters. Here's a challenge for you two. Without looking it up, can you name me a single guest character from Series 11?
Like the actor or the name?
By name.
Yeah, by Art Malik.
That rich white Trump dude from Arachnids, but I don't remember his name.
I remember his name.
Rockwood?
Robertson.
Robertson. Okay, there. He has a white guy name. Oh my god.
I can remember like a few of the characters by name.
But you see my point? I mean, there were memorable guest characters in the other eras that I still think about. And still remember
the lady who got taken by the Dalek, but I don't remember her name.
Don't remember her name. Like, literally, I think the only names I really are
I
Robertson.
I call her Charlotte, but that's the name of her actress.
Yeah. I remember one. Rosa.
Yeah.
Does that count?
Historical figures do not count, but thank you for playing.
I remember the pregnant man from Saranga Conundrum.
Yes, but you just call him the pregnant man. I mean, you remember him because he's a pregnant man. You don't remember his name.
That's what I said. Yas. That was his name, I believe.
His name is Yas.
With his surname
Queen. With his surname Queen.
No, I'm pretty sure that's the pregnant man's name on the show.
Yeah, but you're right.
And I think the dad in Takes You Away was named Eric, and his daughter was Hannah, Yana.
Hannah.
Yeah.
Okay,
there was some like Nordic way of. That was.
You've got a couple there. I'll grant you.
Yeah, I don't remember the goddamn anyone from Battle of Raxor.
Battle of
Haxor.
Ravioli surprise.
The Battle of Spaghetti Carbonara. Yeah, I can't remember either.
But yeah, Chibnall. I guess I get the idea of let's not have any returning monsters and have some original ideas and let the Doctor get her ground. It's not a bad idea. Problem is if you don't do anything interesting with what you invent.
Pretty much exactly what I've got written on my notes. Well done.
Hey, there you go. Like, what do we got for villains? We got Tim Shaw, who's like the most iconic, I suppose.
One of the most lackluster series art villains I can remember.
Yeah.
As a one-off, he's fine. As a
you're making
okay.
You made me think of the quote
I
from
remember
Caribbean.
3 villains from this series.
Yeah.
Tim Shaw, the Dalek at the end of it, and the Englishman.
Tim Shaw, the random greaser racist, Robertson, I guess Pating.
The Englishman?
Yeah, from Punjab. They're the ones who incited all the people to
God
go
damn
and
it!
start killing.
If you said
You
the
forgot
English,
about that.
If you said the English, I'd have understood.
Reminding Brainiac of his country. The podcast.
Well, I mean, for me, it is the 4th of July, so USA! USA!
I was wondering how long I was going to get away with not mentioning the fact it's Independence Day. Spoilers, it's Independence Day today.
Okay, okay, and then Kerblam, we have an angry Annie.
Yeah.
And Witchfinders, we have tree monsters.
You haven't mentioned the best villain of the series. Legitimately the best villain of the series. Not ironically like Englishman or the English.
What's the best villain of the series?
Becca Savage.
Oh, I was thinking of the tree people, but yeah.
No. The tree people are very much not. But when she's actually a human, she's great. She actually has motivations. She has reasons for being the way she is. She's
Becca Savage was the lady from Witchfinder. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was acted brilliantly by Siobhan Finneran.
I literally did not know who that was for solid 5.
Yeah.
Oh. Did I?
I only knew it because it was written in my notes.
Yeah. And then we have Tim Shaw again and a Dalek. Oh boy, it's a Dalek. How exciting.
Tim Shaw, as I say, the most lackluster series other than I can remember. What a stretch to see him as a godlike figure for the Ux.
And I'm going to blow up the planet Earth. But is it the planet Earth of the year 5000 or the planet Earth of 2019? I don't fucking know.
I'm telling you, Battle of Range Rover Jalopy is just such a mess.
It's so bad. I mean, there are good guest characters, but the villains, the monster's kind of lackluster.
Yeah. Even Becca is reduced to generic mud monster once the Morax are officially revealed, and then she starts to look like Bette Midler in Hocus Pocus.
I
think that kind of pissed me off at the time. Did I criticize the show for going with generic evil alien?
You did.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, you did. We all did.
Good, because I'm right.
I read something earlier that apparently Christian had left out the classic villains out of the series to give the Daleks' Return and Resolution more impact.
Yeah, you failed.
And given how Resolution played out, I think he shouldn't have bothered.
You failed, like, really badly.
Again, we talked about this on the Resolution review. You can always go back and watch that because it's a bit more positive than this one is. But
nobody fails harder than you did just then.
The Dalek doesn't act like a Dalek. It has powers that are nothing like a Dalek's.
Yeah, and if you want more in depth into that, just go watch our Resolution review. It pretty much says exactly everything.
I did spot a trend. I did spot a kind of a trend in some of the monsters and villains throughout this series.
Teeth.
Either the monster is later revealed to be misunderstood, like in Demons of the Punjab, The monster is not actually a monster, Arachnis in the UK. Or the monster is acting like they are for entirely justifiable reasons, like Syringa Conundrum and It Takes You Away.
Or the monster is the worst monster of all. Man.
Bedsheets. The ghost monster is floating bedsheets.
Let me do that again. The monster is the worst monster of all. Englishman.
Oh my God. This is like in Bambi, where man doesn't appear on the film, but still got voted like the 5th worst villain in AFI's 50 villains list.
USA.
Oh my
Happy
God.
Thursday of absolutely no historical importance day, everybody.
Happy the first
happy
time
Up
you've ever
Yours
lost a
England
colony,
Day,
and you're just going slowly downhill from there.
I'm taking this on the chin for the good of the podcast.
Oh.
Honestly, I just... This has broken me so much. This series has broken me so much. Even Kat insulting me about colonialism and the English isn't having the impact it should. Chris Chidley, you have ruined this forever.
You have erased the magic of Doctor Who.
We try to be positive. I remember all of us looking for something good in these episodes, but now...
Thankfully, we're almost done.
Yeah, but
not before one more cherry on top of the shit cake.
Yeah.
The soundtrack.
What? No, the politics.
Not before 2 more cherries on top of the shit cake, the politics and the soundtrack.
Alright, go ahead. Wax poetic about the soundtrack then.
What soundtrack? Can you remember any of the music from the series?
Seeing as I don't really pay attention to any of the music except the opening theme, no.
For people who are perhaps new to this podcast, first of all, I hope you're welcome. I hope you're enjoying this slight deep dive into negativity.
I really hope this isn't the first episode you started with, seeing as we have a whole backlog that you could have gone through.
If it is, probably the last one as well, but there you go. Murray Gold's music in the first 10 series is so good. It's so dynamic. It actually adds to a lot of the scenes in those first 10 series. It really does. I think it actually lifts iconic scenes and pushes them up even higher. There are too many examples to give, but I would quite happily listen to a CD of the soundtrack of a given series one evening. Sega Nekonola's soundtrack, on the other hand, he's trying to be more subtle than Murray Gold.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Too subtle.
I mean, I remember the bits with the crane in Woman Who Filled Earth.
Yeah, the scene with the Doctor confronting Tim Shaw at the top of the crane, that adds to the scene. The short cue where the junk Dalek breaks through the wall resolution. Obviously, the mournful version of the main theme tune in the credits for Demons of the Punjab.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just about it.
Yeah.
Maybe It Takes You Away as well.
Maybe. I don't really remember that much of them.
This is not a slight on Sega Nekonola as a composer. It just doesn't work.
Good.
This music just doesn't work.
It's just understated, so it's not like slapping you in the face like Murray Gold. So it's
okay. I've been pulling it back as long as I can. I can't anymore. Kat, it's your turn. Politics.
Well, actually, I think I'll talk about the soundtrack a little bit more. So, the whole purpose of a soundtrack, and please don't make me talk about politics.
You brought it up. You just skip it.
I know.
You kids made me talk about Kablam again. You made me bring that bugbear up.
Nobody made you bring it up. Nobody made you bring it up. You brought it up yourself.
Yeah. You literally started the show with, "Hey, Fresno."
This podcast didn't screw Jerry. Jerry screwed Jerry.
Hey.
Well, hey, would you look at that time? It looks like we have to skip all of this then.
You've just reminded me of a Benny Hill sketch.
All right, let's get into it. What was it that we said before Series 11 started? You know,
I
like
hope it's good.
Well, no, the other thing about Jodie Whittaker being cast.
I hope this doesn't give the showrunners an excuse to make the show too political.
Something like that. I think we basically just said, hey guys, this isn't a political move, this is just, you know, they wanted to try something new and get out there, and now it's totally a political thing. So we've got, what? Racism, the desire to recycle, technically, and arachnids, and, all the horrors of, what happened in the Punjab with the Englishmen.
Will you stop bringing that up?
No. And it's just... I'm even tired just talking about it right now.
I can tell.
Sadly, yeah, they got political with it, and from what we've seen, that isn't gonna stop either.
No.
It's like, we had capitalism with the Amazon episode of Kerblam. And I agree that it was indeed about capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, there was just so much in this series that none of us wanted. We didn't want... Well, okay, technically we did kind of want talks about racism, because racism is still huge even today, and it's awful, and we want to get rid of it as soon as possible. Exactly. So, that one, Rosa gets its pass. And obviously, Demons of the Punjab is so good that even Rainiac is okay with the colonialism thing. Correct, Rainiac? Right. Okay.
Yeah. Rainiac is okay with the colonialism.
No. Don't you dare cut that out and put that on its own. Don't you dare do that.
It's your show! You're making it!
Oh, you just gave me a challenge you did not want to make.
I didn't give you any challenge.
Yes, you gave me a challenge, and I will accept that challenge.
Colonialism is good at colonialism.
So, Independence Day, am I right? Isn't it great, you know, freedom and America and fireworks and hot dogs, and I'm totally not filibustering this.
No, honestly, today sucks anyways because, you know, Trump. And anyone who wants to know why can
hey,
4th of July celebration.
Speaking of political, yeah, we had Shitty Robertson.
Didn't he bring tanks? Hasn't he ordered tanks for the Independence Day parade?
Yes.
Oh
yes,
my God.
He did.
So
he had people come off their leave. They had today off, and now they have to go and watch some tanks in DC where it's like 90 degrees out and they're gonna get super hot.
President Kool-Aid, you never cease to amaze me.
But we're moving on past that because that's the kind of politics I don't want to talk about. Instead, I want to talk about Doctor Who politics, which sadly, yeah, Chibnall kind of... While he downplayed his female characters way too much and overplayed his one single older white male character, he also decided to make it his political platform. And it's kind of obvious that it's his political platform because everything leans super hard left.
Really?
And it's like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with people having whatever political beliefs, agendas, whatever they want. I understand. But when you're too far to one side, you just tend to ignore certain things, right?
Right.
Help me out here. Don't leave me floundering. Speak up, seriously.
No, you're right. I just said you're right.
If I have to talk about politics, you two are going to join me.
Well, let me help you out a bit here. It's not even the fact that the episodes have a really big political slant on them anymore, because politics in Doctor Who is nothing new.
Oh
no,
shit.
But it wasn't this overplayed.
It wasn't laid on with a trial like this was.
I don't know if I would go in that direction.
Okay,
I
all right.
think it's...
Happiness Patrol, yes, I accept. But
yeah. Well, there's a lot of other examples I could give.
There's a reason. There's a reason why.
Here's a good question then.
Yeah.
Here's a good question then, Frez. Was it ever almost the entire season of the show that it was
Season?
all political.
Nope.
Let me think off the top of my head. I don't really think so off the top. Could be wrong.
I'm just thinking back to the time I watched the Twitch Doctor Who marathon.
Because I mean, if you really want to break it down, let's break it down. Why not? So, a woman who fell to Earth, trophy hunters, and how bad they are. The Ghost Monument in general, because that was a terrible episode. We're not talking about that. But also, just to point out in that the effects of science and how harmful it is to develop bioweapons and other things. Rosa, racism, obviously. Arachnids in the UK, dumping stuff. The Sir Verna conundrum.
Well, you jumped over Rosa, but
Rosa
no, she
was
mentioned
racism.
It. She said racism.
Okay. Arachnids is like
the conundrum that I can't pronounce.
Suranga.
Really, the only thing that's really too bad in there is the pregnant man, and even though we're all okay with that, other people were not. And that could be seen as a sort of trans thing, or anything else, or whatever you want to call it. Demons of the Punjab.
I think I've
Demons of the Punjab.
Colonialism.
I get it, okay. I get it.
Kerblam is capitalism. The Witchfinders is, literal witch hunts and how bad they are.
And sexism as well.
And sexism. But that's a common theme as well, just because of who the Doctor is now. It takes you away. That one's a little harder, but I would say it's parents who lie to their kids, but that gets covered a little better.
I wouldn't say it's political. I would say It Takes You Away is the one episode that actually is free of the political stuff. That's probably why I enjoyed it so much.
Probably.
And the irony is that the actress who plays the blind girl is super left-leaning.
There you go.
Yeah, so It Takes You Away I'm obviously stretching on, but that's the best I've got for that.
Yeah. Think up a funny name.
Battle of
Please don't pinch mine, because I've got a brilliant one coming up later.
Battle of Ryan Gets Too Much Screen Time.
Yeah.
That's about the dangers of listening to people and cults and all that crud. And then resolution.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna go on a different angle here. I don't mind if my Doctor Who is political in a sense, but most of the episodes you mentioned didn't handle the subject as well as they could have.
Yeah, that's part of the problem.
Yeah, so I'm not really. So I kind of disagree on the sense of they shouldn't have tackled this, but they should have done it better, for me. If that makes sense.
See, what I'm saying is not that they shouldn't have tackled this. These are all legitimate subjects to tackle. I agree with you there.
Okay.
What I disagree with is the fact that it's nearly every single episode has something in it that is taking a standpoint, a firm standpoint on one side of the issue without discussing the rest of it.
Okay. So you wanted a little...
It's like, obviously, you have your one-sided ones, which nobody should think is correct, like racism and the colonialism and the massacres and death of the Punjab. Or Demons of the Punjab, sorry.
Okay.
But then you have all the other ones, like people who say all capitalism is bad. That's not always true. You have to see it from both sides of the argument. And I don't want to hear anything from you, Frez, because capitalism can be good when it's done right. It's just nowadays it's done wrong.
We already had that particular argument earlier. We don't need to bring that up again.
We've done it. I'll bite my tongue for you. I'll be nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
With Witchfinders, obviously there are terrible, terrible witch hunts out there, and they really should not be done. But there are also times where you could call something a witch hunt, and it turns out to do something really good. You know, like when certain online forums manage to find killers, or they find out people are doing terrible things. It's like, you could call that a witch hunt, but they actually found a witch, so...
It's all about balance, isn't it? And Series 11 has none of it.
No. And it's like, I like to call myself very center of the road, okay? I believe in gun control, but I also believe that too much gun control is bad for people. I believe that anybody should get married to anybody they want. I believe that, women should have a choice. We're not getting into any of this, and if I see it in the comments, you're getting deleted. Rainiac, you're gonna have to be my censor for that.
Yeah,
but
no
either
problem.
way, it's just one of those things where if you lean too far to one side, you're going to alienate so many people.
Yeah.
I don't even like politics, and I'm getting passionate about it.
I feel you. Honestly, I feel you. It's not even the fact that the episodes were political. I miss the days when Doctor Who was just a fun adventure series for the family, for the whole family. And there were moments in Russell T Davies' era that were very political and were needed, like that wonderful scene at the end of The Family of Blood where the Doctor and Martha are at the War Memorial with poppies on. That's brilliant. But it's not the whole series.
It's just like, that's the thing that really wore me down, was the fact that everything had to make a statement. You don't always have to make a statement.
No.
And I'll tell you, I'll be the first one to say I hate black and white scenarios where one side is always evil, the other side is always good. I like having those shades of gray in there where someone's ambiguous. Kind of like Snape from Harry Potter. He's a terrible, terrible man, but he did good things, but for all the wrong reasons. I like that sort of complexity. But when you have it all the time, or when you don't even cover the black parts of it, the evil parts, the bad parts, and you just look at the good side the whole entire time, that's boring. And the inverse, too, when you just look at the bad side of everything and not the good.
There's a reason why, until recently, everybody hated Superman, because he was a goody two-shoes with no flaws.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Batman has flaws. Batman has an actual character development. That's why he was always the more popular superhero.
And that's personally why I don't like Superman, is because, A, he's way overpowered. He gets a new power every 5 seconds for some reason. And B, he's just too good.
And even Superman, they've tried to address it, and they've tried to give him some character flaws. They had that whole thing where he goes absolutely off the rails in Injustice.
No, that doesn't count, because that was evil Superman, and evil Superman they always go hard on, to the point that he's irredeemable.
Okay.
If he had just... spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen the comic or watched the video game or played the video game. If he had just killed the Joker after he killed Lois and their unborn baby, that would have been fine. I would have understood that. And then maybe he felt guilt for doing that, even though morally it might have been the right thing to him. Maybe not ethically, but
Yeah.
But just the fact that he went completely off the rails. And this has essentially become the comics podcast. Hi, everybody. But
hey, let me tell you that Spider-Man.
I can't stand. I just can't stand it when you can't have morally gray characters. Why is that so difficult? Why does everybody have to be evil? Why?
Yeah, I prefer shades of grey characters. I mean, I'm...
Not 50 Shades of Grey characters.
No. Shades of grey in terms of the personality. Like, this is something that J.K. Rowling... This is something that J.K. Rowling, for all her flaws, nails. She says that none of her characters are wholly good or wholly bad, apart from Voldemort.
Yeah, you just take any of her characters, and they have something redeemable about them, except for Voldemort and Umbridge and maybe Bellatrix.
Definitely Bella.
Yeah.
Definitely Bella, definitely Umbridge. Snape obviously redeems himself. And as a writer myself, I try to write in that Shades of Grey style, mostly because it's more interesting and it's more fun to write. It's
I mean,
fun
people
to write a
might say,
character
"Oh,
who's flawed.
that's just anti-heroes." You guys are just talking about anti-heroes. We're talking about the good guys and the bad guys. Doctor Doom is evil. He runs a country, which is Latvia, which is like exceptional apparently in the Marvel universe. Everybody loves Doctor Doom there.
Yeah.
Because he's a good leader. Hey, guess what? That's gray. That's not being just plain old evil.
Yeah, he's not. He's a villain, but he's a villain with actual redeemable qualities.
Magneto. He wants to kill all the human race because he hates how oppressed all mutants are. Hey, guess what? That's morally gray.
Yeah. Another brilliantly written villain because he's not just written as a mustache twirler.
Unless you're watching like one of the live-action movies, in which case he probably is.
No, even in the live-action movies, he's pretty good.
No, I mean the old trio. Where he was just ugh.
And they break him out of prison because he's the lesser of two evils in X2.
Yeah, well. Either way, I ain't seen Dark Phoenix, so I don't care.
Probably for the best. Based on what I know about Dark Phoenix, probably for the best.
Yeah. And it's like, I kind of want to see the Sonic movie, but not in theaters. Let's just say.
Meow?
Anyways, getting back to what I was saying. Politics is a tricky subject. It's one of those things where you can go one way or the other, and you'll often have, like, nobody happy. You can have some people happy some of the time, but you can't have everybody happy all the time. And politics is one of those tricky subjects where you just can't get it right. But you have to be able to do it so that everything is covered. Because if you just cover one side of it, then you're not giving the whole picture. You're not doing any research. You're those trolls on the internet who are like, well, I've already seen it, so I don't have to link you anything. You can go look it up yourself. That's essentially what you've become. And like I said, there are these sections where you can do that. Racism, always bad. Massacres, always bad. But there are also some places where you have to think of the bigger picture. Yeah, we can, go out and recycle and hopefully try to save the planet and make sure that there's no giant spiders, and you're still not getting at the core of the issue, though. You're putting it on regular people to do that. But what about the big corporations that dump all this extra stuff? You're not talking about that at all. You're just talking about this one guy who happens to have a landfill under a hotel.
I would liken Chibnall's approach to politics, writing politics into Series 11, to using a sledgehammer to crack a nut.
Yeah,
Jesus.
pretty much.
You crack the nut, but you don't leave much behind.
It's just one of those things where, yeah, you do need a gentle touch. If you don't use that gentle touch, you're going to, not have any walnuts left to eat.
Yeah. And I think we'll let that be the final word on politics.
Wow, I have talked way too much about this.
I really admire you for going that far deep into it, because I could just feel the energy draining out of the room. But there is a little bit of hope. Just a little bit of hope. Because we are finished now talking about Series 11, so it's time to look to the future and Series 12 and beyond.
We still have politics, though.
It can't get much worse, can it? Oh, it can.
It's climate change.
It can. Yeah, it's climate change.
We're gonna have Al Gore in an episode.
See, I don't know. I don't know what if the climate change one will hit what fear. Well, it might. It probably never mind. It probably will. I don't think it's going to really both sides climate change.
I will say this right now: if the Doctor joins Extinction Rebellion, I'm done.
The what?
You've never heard of Extinction Rebellion?
What is that?
They're an anti-climate change group who... do you remember how London was occupied in, I think it was May?
Oh, are they the people who are gluing themselves to the road?
To trains, yeah. With solvents, which destroys the ozone layer.
Oh.
And cue the clown picture.
Oh no, we're gonna get copyright strike. No!
No, I'm not going to put the music in.
We're in jail for YouTube crimes.
My favourite version of that. My favourite version of that, Fres looked at Timmy at the weekend. It's how you MFers look at 2 gigs of RAM. With 2 gigs of RAM, yeah.
It's the clown song, but it keeps like stuttering.
Because that video sounds like it's going to break the speakers anyway, and then it actually does. It's great. We do have a few details. They're few and far between, but we do have a few details on what's coming in Series 12. I'll talk about the big one right now. A returning monster, which I'm actually quite excited about.
No.
I don't know if I'm excited about it, but cautious optimism, which is, my usual go-to for Chibnall.
The Jadoon, baby. The Jadoon are back from the moon, and this time one of them has a mohawk.
Yeah. The Battle of Rosso Fro Crow.
Yes. And there's a couple of guest stars have been announced. There's a very interesting one, actually, for episode 6. The actress Mahindra, I can't pronounce this name, but I apologise. Mahindra Anjali? Sorry, no, Anjali Mahindra. Reverse it. Anjali Mahindra. Well, that doesn't sound interesting in the first place, does it? But if you might remember, there used to be a spin-off of Doctor Who called The Sarah Jane Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
She was in that as a character called Rani. Not the Rani, just Rani.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's not confusing or anything.
She is listed as playing Queen Skifra in episode 6. Am I crazy? Or does that sound a bit like an Ice Warrior name?
Kind
of. I don't know.
It would be very bold of Chibnall to cast an actress of Asian origin and then just put her in Ice Warrior makeup so you don't see her.
Bold is a word choice.
Racist is another word choice, but we're not going to use that one. Oh, wait.
We just did.
Holy shit.
I am not holding back.
No, you already did your...
The other rumoured guest star, and this is only a rumour, this has not been confirmed at the time of recording, Stephen Fry.
Oh, shit.
Which would be a huge coup. But when he was approached for comment, he refused to say that he was appearing in it. The rumour says that he will guest star in an episode centred around the British Intelligence Service and spying.
Right.
Last time Stephen Fry was linked to Doctor Who, he wrote a script for it. He wrote a script for Series 2. It never got televised.
And instead, we got Fear Her.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen Fry.
That being said, I'd still rather watch Fear Her than Battle of Ranskirlil.
Yeah, he wrote this really detailed script. The story is called The 1920s. That's the only title we have for it, based on its setting. And it was supposed to be about Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, proven to have alien origins. It sounds a bit like Robot Sherwood now you think about it. But the budget was too much. It went over budget, so Russell T Davies moved it back to Series 3, and then it never got made because Stephen Fry couldn't find the time to make the alterations to the script that he needed to.
Unfortunate.
What might have been. And funny enough, we're recording this today, and yesterday an article dropped with some news about Series 12.
All right, go on.
The Radio Times thing that you linked me.
Yeah, say it.
We're getting an extra episode, guys.
Hopes and dreams.
Oh boy!
We might be getting
shit.
an extra episode because Series 12 starts for real in early 2020, according to this source. But the article claims that there will be an extra episode broadcast before that. That might be a Christmas special, that might be a New Year's special, or it might be in the first bit of 2020.
Well, we already know Chibnall doesn't like the Christmas specials, so it's probably not going to be that.
And yet the BBC, in a separate room, the BBC want to move it back to Christmas because the poor ratings resolution got, which is strange because it didn't get poor ratings, but there you go.
Yeah.
we've already covered that. So summary, what's next? Not a lot that we know about.
Summary, what's next? We watch the Ronnie episodes.
Yeah.
Summary, what's next? We wait a whole friggin' year.
But before we go, I am going to end this on a positive note, because I'd like to plug two people, or two entities, that are extremely talented in the world of Doctor Who.
Oh, you don't need to plug me, Rainiac.
I wasn't going to.
I'm not writing for Doctor Who just yet, so you need to hold on with that.
Okay. Two people that don't appear on this podcast. There you are, I saved it.
Okay.
So the first one we've mentioned a few times before. Pip Madeley.
Oh, God. Pip.
He of the brilliant Doctor Who video on Twitter fame. So Pip is doing something on the 14th of July, 8 o'clock British Standard Time. He's calling it the Pertweet. And all the Pertweet is that we're going to watch, well, I say we, because I don't know if I'm participating or not, but everyone's going to watch the Three Doctors at the same time. It's like a big online simul watch. And there'll be giveaways, and hopefully there'll be fan art. It'll just be a good time. So, Pertweet, hashtag Pertweet, 14th of July, which is 10 days away, I think. Yes, it is.
It's right after my birthday.
8 o'clock British time. And the other thing, we've mentioned them before, Clara Oswald, The Untold Adventures.
Yeah!
They've just released story details for the first 12 episodes. There are 13, but they're keeping the final one under wraps. Like, the BBC should do for series finales. Just saying.
It's kind of sad when your fan-made stuff is able to keep secrets better than a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
It sounds so good.
I mean, I love it because I'm the Clara Oswald fanboy on the show.
Yes, we've noticed. You kept it.
I've noticed. Oh no, I've made it known. Gee, I better keep a low profile.
Can you imagine though if the Untold Adventures is actually better than Series 12 in every possible way?
I can imagine. Well, yeah, because I can imagine it better than.
Yeah.
It's actually very easy to imagine.
So it's not that hard.
And with that, I think we're more than done, aren't we?
Ooh, thank God.
We have run to the limit, and the limit is broken.
I had my rant. That was my once a season rant. So.
I had my rant,
but we'll allow it as one. We'll count it as one.
I had my once a season rant, and if anybody contradicts me, I know where they live.
Well, that's okay. I know where you live too.
Yeah, I don't know where you live yet, but I can probably find out. That sounds so threatening. I'm sorry. That sounds so bad.
Oh my God.
That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I meant to send the stuff. I meant to send the presents and things, not to hurt her.
It's okay, Kat.
Brainiac.
Yeah.
You're a pussy. If you're gonna threaten me, mean it at the very least. Come on.
I wasn't threatening you.
Kat, if I may marry you for a second, your feelings are valid.
Oh, thank you.
God, when this goes out, forget the rest of your YouTube crimes. I'll be arrested for actual crimes.
Oh God.
Rainiac can't join us this year as he's currently in the Nick awaiting trial for hate crimes.
Rainiac can't join us this year because he's currently in a ditch, dead. Because he's gotten...
Why am I laughing at that? That's terrible.
Well, it means you won't be around to watch Series 12.
I also won't be around to
exist.
Get my novel written and published, hopefully, and
play I am officially games. Saving the world, so it's okay.
You take the good with the bad.
That's not remotely good, but let's end it off there. Thank you more so than ever to my two suffering contributors, Freezing Inferno and Kat.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for joining me on this car crash into depression.
If you ever make me do this again, I will murder you in your sleep.
Don't worry. Ronnie, watch. Ronnie, watch.
Ronnie,
honestly,
watch.
at
Ronnie,
this stage, Ronnie, what you said is pretty good. You did it, Chibnall. You broke me.
Well, that's all three of us, so you got a turkey. So.
What the?
And not in the bowling sense, unfortunately. But no, seriously, thank you to you two. To the people who are still listening to this, thank you for your continued support. I'm sorry that this was really, really negative, and I promise we will try. We will try in the future to be a bit more positive. Like, not overly so, not artificially so, but just try. I mean, a lot of that's dependent on Chris Chibnall knowing how to write a good episode. But
here we go. I know the best way to end this off. If you got this far in the video, put your best parody of Battle of Whatever down in the comments.
yes,
Just
that's a good way to end it off.
Overload us. Make us laugh.
I think we can all agree that the Battle of Robert Downey Jr. is a terrible episode.
No shit. Okay.
We're not
Good
getting
night,
better
everybody.
now. Good night, folks.
Good night. Sleep tight.
Don't let Chris Chibnall bite.
Well, he is bugging me.
Oh, Jesus.